Folks, this is Book Talk with Corbin, and we have brought back to the show our friend, a longtime friend. We've interviewed this brother several times, Dexter Pitts. And by the way, Dexter has his own podcast called LMPD, and we obviously highly recommend and suggest and encourage folks to check it out. Brother, thanks a lot for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me again. As always, brother, it's always a pleasure.
Just today, just wanted to casually talk to you about a few things for, next 10, 12 minutes. First of all, let's give us an update here on the book. What's going on?
Oh man, I ain't gonna lie, I'm very excited. The guy I'm working with, he sent me my copy of the ebook, that what it's gonna look like, the layout and everything. And it's I can't believe it. It's just like, all the years of hard work and pouring my soul into my keyboard, onto the the Microsoft Word pages, seeing my story come to fruition. It's unbelievable. I just can't believe it's really happening.
Okay.
It's we're shooting for a December release.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
In time for Christmas, is it?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Give it out as a Christmas gift. All right. Yeah.
Yep. I can't wait, man. I still can't believe I was just sitting there holding my phone. I do a lot of ebooks and I do a lot of audiobooks, and I was just looking at my own book on my phone, like the page count. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, whoever thought I would write a book? I didn't even think I would do this.
Right. Yeah. I bet you a couple of people who used to be rather prominent in your life didn't think so neither, or they'd prefer that you not done it at all.
Oh, of course. But, I took a different approach in my book. Of course, I changed names and locations. Right. But what I did do, instead of putting everything on them and acknowledging their mistakes, which I do some, but I spin everything back to myself because, the whole premise behind my last name, personal responsibility, it's easier for me to just write my story out, just trash everybody in my life and like, you all are awful and horrible people and I hope you die. That's the easy way to go, but that's not the way I went. And that's what I was going to start with, but as I started writing, I was like, man, you're going to hurt people and you're not going to accomplish anything and people aren't going to understand you. You're not going to leave a good legacy for your kids, just writing hate. And so I took it and spun it and I made it about, not them, but me. I needed to forgive. I needed to go forward. I needed to get better. And that's the hard thing to do.
And you're absolutely right. That's the wise, mature thing to do, which is a 180 to what I would have done. But you had mentioned not too long ago that you had gotten a notification that possibility a Courier Journal reporter is doing a little background check on you. What do you think that's about? You think it's connected to the book and what might be in it?
Well, I don't think she's with the Courier Journal. She's with the group. I forgot what they're called. And I don't want to say her name or the group yet because I don't know her intentions. But from what I've seen and from what I've been told from other people, this lady hates the police. And what she does is write hit pieces on officers. Wow. And so I'm guessing is that she's probably got a hold of my podcast. I'm sure I got a snitch on my Facebook page or somebody's heard it. Like, oh, my first thought, Corbin, when I saw the lady, and then I started looking into her. My first thought when I saw her and her friends sitting around at a table looking at this Black Conservatives podcast, my first thought was they were probably like, who taught this Negro to read and write and gave him permission to speak his mind?
There you go.
That's my first thought, because that is typically what the far left does.
Exactly.
Did you see the video with Larry Elder the other day from California?
Is that where someone tried to hit him with an egg?
Yes. A white lady on a bike wearing a blacked out gorilla mask with purple hair.
Which is racist, by the way. Black gorilla mask is racist.
Extremely racist, but we just gonna let that slide. The news ain't gonna say nothing about that. Right. But how dare me? How dare this Uncle Tom actually write a book, and how dare he have a podcast and actually come speak truth to life about things going on in this country? How dare me?
When he that initial thing came out about his ex-fiancée, I was like, that's it. This guy's a threat. This guy's a threat.
That's what happens.
They picked up the kitchen sink. They threw that at him, the pot, everything. They said, "Oh,
yeah."
no!" So even though it was sort of disgusting what they did, and I don't know why in the heck she suddenly wanted to come out and say all this stuff. I mean, if she has some issues with the man pointing a gun at you, dude, you should have done something about that right then.
I'll tell you why she don't have a problem, Corbin, because she's probably getting paid. Like, yo, look, y'all were together. How much is it going to take you to step forward? And this is the exact reason why I don't want to go into politics. Like the lady digging into me, literally, I have nothing to hide. Mm-hmm. All my ugly stuff is in my book. I've talked about it on my podcast. There's nothing in my personal file at work on the police department that's going to be like, oh my God, this is a horrible person. Yeah. That's why I say I don't know what her intentions are, but if you're looking for a story, I can't help you. I mean, I got 2 ex-wives I can point you into. If you want some,
right?
No, hey, you want that? I can give that to you. But I mean, other than that, I mean, literally, I talk about it on my podcast and my book. I had a negligent discharge with my shotgun when it was shortly after my mother died. I was not in the right headspace at work. Shouldn't have been working. Mm-hmm. I've had complaints, but none of my complaints have been sustained. Well, excuse me, I had one. And the only thing I got in trouble was this lady who the store said she was stealing. And I verified that, yes, they said, yes, she's stealing. So I take her upstairs, detain her, and then I decide I'm going to place her under arrest. Well, store manager comes back, well, like, oh, no, we don't think she stole. So, okay. I say, hey, you're not under arrest. You're free to go. And I'll let her go. And the beauty of it was I was so nice to this lady, Corbin. And when she leaves, I was like, man, was I disrespectful to you? She's like, no, he was very nice. And so next thing you know, I get this lawsuit comes in and they're calling me like a psychopath and all this. And I was tortured her and all this stuff. But the only thing I got in trouble for in the whole thing was I forgot to call my sergeant, because once you tell somebody that they're under arrest, you have to call a sergeant to tell them that they are no longer under arrest, and they have to do what's called a blue team on the police department. I messed up because, like I said, I make mistakes. That wasn't a mistake out of, just to make a mistake. That was a mistake because I was ignorant. Man, we have 850 pages of policy. Yeah. You're gonna mess up. I messed up, and I ate it on that one. I was like, yeah, and I got a written reprimand for it. I'm okay. That's fair. But the other stuff, none of that was sustained. I lost my badge once when I was a rookie guy. Okay. Other than that, a couple car accidents, man. That's all you're gonna find in my file. That's why I tell people I live my most authentic life and always keeping it real, man. Like on my podcast, I'm not gonna lie. I have nothing to hide. So my hope is that she writes, if this is their intent, I hope her intention is to write the nastiest, meanest, ugliest hit piece on me. And people are like, who is this piece of garbage? And people are like, I want to hear what this guy's got to say. Right, and that they're flooding to hear my podcast and just giving me all the downloads. And I'm like, maybe this guy's a really good dude. So it's going to be good publicity for me and for my books. So I don't have a problem with it. I was like, I welcome it. I'm surprised it took this long. I'm 30 episodes in.
One thing, and I try to say this to as many black conservatives I meet and encounter. I said, man, when you start messing with people's power and money, they're going to come after you with both guns blazing. So if you've got something in your background, and who doesn't have something in their background? Exactly. Who doesn't? Here, you cast the first stone. Everybody starts turning around and walking home. But they're gonna bring you out there and portray you as if you were just Judas and Hitler and Pol Pot all wrapped up in one.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And like I said, I don't know her intent, but if that's what it is, I say bring it on, baby. I'm ready for the fight. Dexter Pitts ain't got nothing to hide. I've been doing this a long time, and because I operate in police with integrity and respect, you'll be hard pressed to find anybody in the city that'd be like, that's a horrible officer. We hate him. Right. You'd be hard pressed. I'm sure you could find one or two. God, Lord knows, have mercy. Especially during last year, during the riot, you could find a couple of disgruntled people. But no.
Look at Larry Elder. Look who they had to pull in.
Yeah.
Big old California, and you can only bring up one person who can say, oh, he's Satan in disguise or something.
One allegation. All these people that's been around for years. They did the same thing with Donald Trump. Been around all these people for years. All these people, all of a sudden, he's a racist. Like, well, y'all was friends with the racists all this time, and all of a sudden, You know, that's
Exactly.
why I hate politics, man.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I can see that. I can see that, man. But you not only been a police officer, podcast author, but you're in the military too, weren't you?
Correct, correct. And
Yeah.
that's a lot of that's in the book. That's probably half of the book.
You were there was it Iraq?
I was in Iraq from 2004 till I got blown up on January 2nd of 2005. But
Mm-hmm.
the whole reason I joined the army, was September 11th, and I wanted to go fight in Afghanistan. But I didn't graduate in time. Then by the time I did graduate and join the military, go through training, Iraq was like the new game in town. And Afghanistan was still on fire, but it was falling to the background, and
Right.
America was putting all their focus on Iraq. So I never got to make it to Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
I have had a lot of friends that did, though.
What are some of your thoughts about what happened with Afghanistan? Mainly, I'm talking about the army like turned and ran. President said see ya, and he ran off. And then the evacuation looked like it wasn't organized at all. I mean, what are some of your thoughts about that?
Man, just seeing this thing has been going on for 20 years, and to see America tuck tail and run in such a manner, in such a fashion, it's heartbreaking and embarrassing, man, because we are so better than that. Our troops are better than that. The people of Afghanistan deserve better. And the people that have died and shed their blood over there, these American soldiers, they deserve better than what President Biden gave us. And the one thing I don't like about what Biden's doing is he keeps saying, yes, the buck stops here, but, and you know what happens when somebody says
But right.
but this is the plan I inherited from President Trump. Like, yo, homie, you are the president. This is your pony. This is your horse you're riding right here.
Right.
And you keep bringing up the last man. No, take responsibility. And there is no way that I don't want to go down conspiracy theory, Rob, but to me, it's just like, how do we leave behind billions of dollars of equipment knowing, hey, we have time. No, we don't. The Taliban does not control when the U.S. military comes and goes. That's not supposed to be the case. Hey, we need time to get our equipment. Well, y'all got to leave. Well, guess what? We're going to stay. Do something about it. It was just embarrassing, man, to see this go down and to see Americans left behind.
Yes.
I'm just like, how is this happening? And not only that, we had Biden and the Department of Defense turn over a list of Americans. It gave it to the Taliban, trusting them to get our people out. The whole reason we have been there is because of them wanting to kill Americans. And they said, well, it's in their own self-interest. Of course it is, but they still hate Americans. I'm lost at the whole thing, Corbin. I'm telling you, man, it's upsetting. We deserve better. And this president, he's got to go, man. He's horrible. And now this, I will say this in defense of Biden. Everybody's like, he's negotiating with terrorists. No, Trump negotiated with the Taliban as well. So as much as I like to criticize Biden, I always say, hey, that's not fair, because Trump did that too. I remember he had them fly out to Camp David or something, and they actually discussed withdrawing troops and such, man. But but still, regardless, this is a stain on our country, man. Absolute stain on our military.
And I interviewed Brigitte Gabriel. She's a national security analyst and expert, and she pretty much said what you said. I said my last question to her in my interview with her was, okay, I'm going to give you 3 minutes with the President of the United States and his top advisors and cabinet, etc. What are you going to say? And she immediately didn't hesitate. Mr. President, I respect you. I respect the office, but I'm going to have to ask you to resign. I was like, whoa. Okay, well, please express.
The cojones on her, man.
Right, yeah. Please express, your true feelings here. Don't hide. Don't hide them. And then she, sort of went from that thesis and basically said a lot of what you said. She says, I cannot believe that the United States has that kind of fear from the Taliban that we would just sort of run like that. Because I noticed in your comment, you just said, hey, you know what, guy? We got this equipment here, and we need some time to move it out. And if you got a problem with that, well, you just have a problem.
He said, figure it out.
I mean, that's it. We're gonna get this equipment out. And it would. I mean, do you think the possibility exists that equipment could at some point in the future, if it stays there,